Hello, everyone, and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama.
So, just as one season finishes, another has begun. So, I'm back for another Have Your Say series.
Oh, God help us.
And this video is for All Stars 10 Meet the Queens. So today I'm going to be going through the Meet the Queens, going through the results of the Have Your Say poll where you voted on your opinions on the Meet the Queens. And I'll be talking about a little bit of drama unrelated to All Stars 10 to do with Lexi Love calling out Violet Chachki, and also some news about Lexi Love announcing that she's taking a break. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. Okay, so obviously this is a little bit different for this particular one because this isn't an actual episode, this is just the Meet the Queens. So it's going to be a little bit of a different format. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the video in general. I'll put a link below to the Meet the Queens if you haven't watched it already. And then I'll be going through sort of my thoughts on the Queens, but I'll also then be going through how you voted in the Have Your Say poll. So let's first talk about the format of All Stars 10 because it is a bit different. So there are 18 queens in total, which is insane. That is the largest cast there's ever been. And in the Meet the Queens and a bit beforehand, in the sort of the promo leading up to the season, they said that it was going to be a tournament style. So it's the tournament of All Stars. And in the Meet the Queens, they say there are these three brackets, which are basically three groups of queens. And from what we can gather, the queens are going to compete in these groups. And then the people who move forward will then go to some kind of semi-final and compete together. But what I'm interested in, and I'm not sure if it's been confirmed yet, is whether the queens are actually going to interact all as a big group or if they're just staying within their groups and only the people who win within their groups go forward. Because does that mean that some of the queens will never meet each other because they're in different groups or different brackets, as they call it? So I do think it's a very interesting twist on the All Stars. I'll be interested to see how it actually works because if it is just three separate groups that don't interact much, I'm not sure how that's going to play out because I find it quite interesting when all the queens are together. So we'll see how that goes. But let's actually get into the queens themselves and I'll go through them in order in which they showed them in the Meet the Queens. So starting off with bracket 1, and the first queen was Aja. So Aja is obviously from season 9 and All Stars 3, so she has been on All Stars already. I was very excited to see Aja because I think for a while people thought she would never really be on Drag Race again. She has already been on All Stars, and a lot of people felt like she did not get treated very well on All Stars 3 and she was kind of robbed a little bit. And I do sort of agree with that. I think she should have maybe gone a bit further in All Stars 3 than she did. And also for a while it seemed like Aja maybe wasn't going to do drag anymore and stuff, but it seems like she now is and she's back, and I'm very excited because Aja has some amazing moments. Like everyone remembers her All Stars 3 talent show when she did that jump and Milk was like, is she gonna jump from there? So I was really excited to see Aja back. Next up, we had Deja Skye from season 14. I've been waiting for Deja to be on an All Stars. I really love Deja. I thought she was so fun on season 14. I have actually met Deja at DragCon UK a few years ago, and she was a horrible, rotted person. No, she was genuinely so lovely. Like, she was so fun, so engaging. She kind of knew my name, I think, because I think we had spoken on DM before, and she was just so nice. Also, in person as well as on screen, the mug is stunning on Deja. Like, her makeup skills are no joke. So I was very excited to see her back. Then we had Irene the Alien, or who used to go by Irene Dubois from season 15. I'm so intrigued that Irene is on this season, and I'm also really glad because she was first eliminated on her season, so we never really got to see much from her. But for anyone who remembers season 15, which kind of feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't really, her runway packages that she posted, obviously, after her elimination were so good. And at the reunion, I think she showed that she was actually, there was a lot more to her than you would expect from someone who went home first. So a lot of people have been saying for a long time they want Irene back on All Stars because they feel like she didn't get a fair run of it on her first time. Next up, we had Phoenix from season 3. I was so excited to see Phoenix because this is someone I really love it on All Stars when they bring back a queen from quite a long time ago. Phoenix was literally on Drag Race in season 3, so that's like over a decade ago at this point. And I think this is the prime example of what All Stars is for, is to kind of reintroduce, especially some of these queens who were on earlier seasons. And a lot of the new baby viewers, like yourself, perhaps watching, may not have even watched season 3. Obviously, I have because I am a huge Drag Race nerd and super fan, so I've watched all of the seasons.
Nerd alert! Nerd alert!
But it has been a while since we've seen Phoenix, so I'm really excited to see her back. She seems really sweet. I'm really looking forward to seeing how she's changed a bit, because she even said herself on season 3 she was very reserved, didn't really show that much. She was quite an early out. So I'm really excited to see her back. Then we had Olivia Lux from season 13. Again, this is another queen I'm very excited to see. I loved her on her original season, and I think Olivia's someone who people have been saying for a while they want to see on All Stars, because it's been a few years since her season now, so I think it's enough time that she's sort of grown and she's probably evolved and changed quite a lot. And she did go very far on her original season, so I'm very excited to see the smile back again, because that's what I remember about Olivia, was just that she had such an amazingly warm smile. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her on All Stars. And then last for this group, we have Bosco from season 14. Now, I should mention there are 6 queens from season 14 on this season. We'll get to the others later, but this is literally like half of the season 14 cast. It's almost like a season 14 reunion. But I'm really glad that Bosco is back. I really loved Bosco on her original season. I'm really excited to see how Bosco has changed, because not only has it been 3 or so years since her season, but also after the show, she had a transition, which she talked about. She also got a lot of surgery done. So she looks like almost a completely different person. And I really loved Bosco on her original season. So I'm really excited to see Bosco back and to see kind of the elevation and the change that's happened. Okay, so moving on to bracket 2, and the first queen up was Tina Burner from season 13. I have actually interviewed Tina, and I also met her at DragCon UK a few years ago, and she's really cool, really funny, really talented as well. And I always felt like Tina was kind of a bit unfairly treated on season 13. I do think she didn't deserve to be eliminated when she was, and she did go pretty far in the competition. I think people remember her mainly for the fact that she always wore red, orange, or yellow in some combination. But I'm really glad to see Tina back, because I think she deserves it. She's such a powerhouse of talent, and she's also just like a really cool person. And I wonder if we'll be seeing any red, orange, or yellows this season, or whether she's deliberately going to stick away from it. So time will tell. Next up, we had Kerry Colby, another one from season 14. Again, I'm not surprised that Kerry is on All Stars, because she was really good on season 14. She showed that she was like fashionable, beautiful, but I think probably since her season, she's had enough time that she's grown, and she's talked about the fact that she's grown. And I think it'll be interesting to see whether she has more confidence now in some of the non-aesthetic based things like acting and Snatch Game and those sorts of things. So I was really excited to see Kerry back again. Then we had Nicole Paige Brooks from season 2. Now, again, this is a bit like Phoenix. This is exactly the sort of person I want to see on All Stars. We have been waiting for the icon and legend Nicole Paige Brooks to be on All Stars. I loved Nicole in this. She just came across as so fun. I've been following on social media for years, and she's really funny. I think her drag has evolved and changed a lot since her season. Even though I will say, in her confessionals, she literally has not aged. She looks exactly the same as she did on season 2. So I don't know what like deal with the devil that she's made, but she looks great. She literally has not aged. So good for Nicole. But yeah, I'm very excited to see someone, because she's the one who's from the furthest back in Drag Race, and it's been such a long time since her season. So I'm very excited to see more of the legend of Nicole Paige Brooks.
It's just malicious, just gay faggotry that I just was not thinking we were going to run into here.
And this is Matt in the editing room. So I don't know how, but basically I forgot about Mistress Isabel Brooks, so I'm going to add it in now. So the next queen was Mistress Isabel Brooks from season 15. Now, I'm sure many of us were expecting Mistress to be back on All Stars, because she was so memorable on her season. She was so shady but funny. As she mentioned, she had literally the most confessionals in history. So I think Mistress is someone I was really excited to see her back. back. I think she's going to bring a lot of entertainment, but also a lot of polish. Also, she's kind of proven that you don't need to win the show to still be really successful. She's super successful on YouTube now. She does collabs and things on her YouTube. She's very, very funny, and I can't wait to see her on All Stars. Then we had possibly the biggest gag of the season, which is Lydia B. Collins from season 17. Now, I saw the rumors, and I have talked about this in some of my previous videos, so I'm sure some of you knew this already, that the rumors were that Lydia was on this season. I was gagged that she actually was on the season, though. Like, she literally just came off season 17, and I'm sure some of you are wondering how much time did she have between the two seasons. So Lydia has done an interview, and she's also now talked about it in an interview with Entertainment Weekly with Joey Nolfi when they did a cast interview. And she confirmed that she had around 5 days, yes, you heard that correctly, 5 days to prepare for the season.
Like, how much time did you have to prepare? What was that like for you?
It was like 4 to 5 days that I had to prepare for like the first bit of the competition.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, you know what, let's throw in Lydia, why not?
Now, there have been a lot of rumors as to why Lydia's on the season. Quite a few people have said, and this is completely unconfirmed, I think, but some people have said that Maddie Morphosis and Mirage were asked, but they both said no for whatever reason. That's just a complete rumor, by the way. I don't know if those are true, but apparently someone cancelled last minute. Maybe it was Maddie or Mirage, but I think apparently it was someone else. And then Lydia apparently was brought in kind of last minute, which would explain why she only had 4 to 5 days to get ready. I am gagged, though, that she's on this season so quickly. I loved Lydia on season 17, though. Like, she was so fun, so quirky. I think RuPaul loved her just because she loved calling her butthole. And I mean, we all love a good butthole, right?
You disgust me.
So I'm very excited to see what Lydia does. And I'd also love to know how she managed to get ready in that short amount of time, because that's really seriously impressive. And then finally for this bracket, we have Georges from season 14 and All Stars 9. Now, this was the person I probably was the most surprised by from the rumors, because I heard that Georges was going to be on, but I thought surely she can't be, because she was just on All Stars 9, which was like the last All Stars season before this. And I know there's been quite a lot of comments from people, which we'll get to in a minute, saying about why do they keep bringing back the same queens. I think what my thoughts on this are is, I personally, yes, would prefer if they brought back queens who have not been on All Stars, or at least queens who have not been given quite as many recent opportunities. But at the same time, I'm not going to blame a queen for turning down an amazing opportunity. We can't really focus on the queens and give them the blame. If anything, the people who are to blame are the casting directors, because if you're a queen, let's imagine you're a queen and you get given an opportunity to come back on the show another time, you're obviously going to say yes. So we're not going to blame the queens. I don't think that's fair. If anything, blame the show and the casting, but I don't think it's fair to blame the queens. But I'm excited to see Georges back. I think she's always kind of money in the bank, so to speak, because she's fun. She's good at performing. I really would be interested to see how she fares on this All-Stars compared to All-Stars 9, because All-Stars 9 was quite different because it was the charity season and things like that, whereas this is a tournament style. So it'll be interesting to see how she's sort of changed in quite a short amount of time. Then moving on to the third bracket, and the first queen up was Denali from season 13. I'm very excited to see Denali back. I loved her on her season. I thought she was such a firecracker. She had such personality, such a good performer. Her lip sync to 100% Pure Love is still one of my favorite lip syncs that I've seen on the show. She was so good. The thing I was mesmerized by this particular Meet the Queens was her confessional look with the, I didn't even know, the top that was kind of like floating. I assume it's got transparent straps on it, but to me that was actually the most intriguing thing from this, because I was like, how is that top staying up? But yeah, very excited to see Denali back, and she's now the third queen from season 13 on this season, so it's also a little bit of a mini season 13 reunion as well. Then we had Acid Betty from season 8. I'm really excited to see Acid, or Betty. Do we call her Acid or Betty? Anyway, I'm really excited to see her from season 8, because it's been quite a while since her season, and I always felt on her season she was very kind of dramatic, and she brought the drama, and she's very unique and quirky in her style. So I'm very excited to see how she's changed or evolved since her season. And again, I think she's the prime candidate for an All-Stars because it's been so long since her season, and a lot of people really liked her on her season because she had some very dramatic moments. So I would be very interested to see how she fares within this All-Stars. Then we had Alyssa Hunter from season 14, another season 14 queen. I'm also very excited to see her online. We have spoken a little bit on DM and she's really sweet and nice. And I think people remember her because she's very good looking, both in and out of drag. And she called herself the Trade with the thing that she was wearing in her confessionals. And I always felt like we didn't necessarily see that much from her on season 14 because she was quite an early out. But I would really like to see a more of the representation of Latina queens, especially from Puerto Rico. So I'm very excited to see Alyssa and what she can do. And I'm hoping she gets an opportunity to show herself a bit more than she did on season 14. Next up, we have the Cuckoo Queen herself, Cynthia Lee Fontaine from seasons 8 and 9. I'm so excited to see Cynthia back. Those of you who know, I have interviewed Cynthia. She is so, so lovely. She's the cuckoo queen. Not only does she have a cuckoo, but she is cuckoo. Like, she is so crazy, but in the best possible way. She's so funny, so naturally charismatic. Loved the interview when I spoke to her. And we've spoken quite a few times on DM and she's liked my posts and stuff. She's just genuinely the loveliest person. And I'm very excited to see her back on this season because so many people have said they want her on All Stars for years. So I'm so glad that she gets this opportunity. I even asked her about All Stars when I interviewed her. I think when I interviewed her, it must have been before she was asked, I think, or it might have been around the time she was asked. I don't know. She didn't tell me anything, just to make that clear, but I always suspected that she might be on All Stars one day because she's so popular and sort of so beloved by the fandom. So I'm very, very excited to see Cynthia back on our screens. And then we have yet another season 14 queen, which is Daya Betty. I loved Daya on her season. I always felt like she was called like the villain of her season, but I always felt that was a little bit unfair. I think she was probably one of the only people that brought a little bit of drama to the season. Season 14 was very much a very quite long drawn out, but relatively kind of miscongeniality season. So I never really thought that Daya was actually a villain. I think she was just maybe slightly more dramatic than some of the other queens. But I really love her style. I love that she's kind of a bit more grunge rock and roll. Obviously, she's in the same family as Crystal Method. And I love Crystal as well. I think they both are such fun, quirky queens. So I am very much looking forward to seeing Daya back on our screens. And then finishing out the cast, we have Ginger Minj from season 7, All Stars 2 and All Stars 6. Now, I think Ginger's one of those people, I think she's been getting the most amount of sort of criticism from her casting from the season because she's already been on quite a few seasons, especially All Stars. Now, what I would say is, as I mentioned with Georges, because it seems to be Georges and Ginger that get the most amount of comments. Again, I don't think we can blame the queens. We have to only really blame the casting directors. But again, with Ginger, Ginger is so entertaining and she's literally an all-rounder queen. She's funny, she can sing, she can dance, she can act, she can literally do everything. So I can see why they would pick her because I wonder if she's going to have a sort of storyline, a little bit maybe like Alyssa Edwards had on Global All Stars, that maybe she's going to come back and a lot of people think she's going to get the crown, but I wonder if she's coming back more as almost the mother figure or kind of not necessarily mother, but just the person who's got a reputation of being very famous and very seasoned among the queens. So I do wonder if Ginger is going to sort of have that role in the season. But personally, I really like Ginger and I always have, so I'm still very excited to see her back. Okay, so let's move on to the Have Your Say poll results, and I'll kind of mix it in with what I was talking about. So the first question I asked was, which queen are you most gagged or surprised by being on the season? And Lydia B. Collins came out on top with 34%. Then it was Phoenix with 11.7%, and then it was Acid Betty with 10%, but then multiple other queens also got a decent amount of votes as well. I will say, I guess I would have to say Lydia would also have been mine because she literally just came off a season. We've never had this before, ever, I don't think. We've had queens that have been on All Stars quite soon after their original seasons, but never literally the next season. But I think it's really cool that she's on the season. I'm very much looking forward to how she's changed, if so, and what she's actually able to bring in that short amount of time. So question 2 was, who had the best outfit or fashion? And Alyssa Hunter came out on top with 21.4%. Then it was Acid Betty with 15.8. And then Lydia B. Collins with 11.1. And I would have to agree, I absolutely loved Alyssa's promo look because it had that huge like headpiece thing. The purple looked amazing. I think she really did not come to play when she came for that promo look. Okay, so moving on to question 3. Again, this was very split like most of these questions, but I asked who was the funniest / best personality? And Mistress Isabel Brooks got 32%. So that was the biggest proportion by far. And then after that, it was Lydia B. Collins with 9.9%, Bosco with 9.6%, and Ginger Minge with 9.2%. So they were all quite close. I would agree. I think Mistress was obviously very funny. She's great TV. She's shady, but also really quick, witty. And she's just a very all-rounded, very funny queen. So I can see why people voted for her. I will have to say personally, maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I do love me some Cuckoo. I think Cynthia just came across so warm, so lovable, so funny. She is literally bananas, but in the best possible way. So I would have to give it to my Miss Cuckoo sister, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, personally. But also Mistress was amazing. Okay, so question 4 is I asked which group color palette, because obviously there were 3 different groups and they each had 3 different colors, was your favorite. Now, before I even start, I hope you appreciate the attention to detail in this graph that I literally color coded them to match the color of the different groups.
Literally, no one cares.
So it was actually kind of split, this particular vote, but the one that came out on top was group 3, which was purple with 43.6%. Then it was group 2, which was pink with 35.8%. Love pink. And then group 1 was last, orange with 20.6%. Now, I would have to agree. I think if I was going to choose a color, I would also choose purple. Although I don't really own anything purple anymore, I do actually love purple. I think it's a really regal color and it just looks great. And I guess it also helps that Alyssa was in the purple group and she was voted number 1 for the looks. So I can see why purple overall got number 1 as well. Question 5 was I asked, do you like the new format of the tournament style with the 3 groups? And it was 64.9% for yes and 35.1% for no. Now, I think it's really hard to judge this because we don't really necessarily know exactly how it's going to work. If the queens are all separated into 3 groups and they don't interact much, personally, I would not like that as much. I would probably vote no if that was the case. But if it's the case that they do compete in groups, but then they do all come together as a big group in the end, I think I would like that a bit more. So I'm very intrigued to see how it happens, but I'm just hoping that the cast isn't so big that we don't necessarily get to see all of the queens as much. Okay, so question 6 was which queens are you rooting for? And I allowed you to select up to 2 queens. Now, before any of you start going crazy in the comments, I know this is not a pie chart, and I know a lot of you like the pie charts, but because I allowed you, because I'm so generous and lovely.
Oh, you're a liar. You're just a liar. You always were.
I allowed you to vote for 2 people. You can't then really easily put that into a pie chart unless you manually do a lot of workings out. And as Katia said,
I didn't go to school for math.
So this is the graph that Google has given me, so you're just going to have to deal with it. So the 2 queens who got the most amount of votes by far were Lydia B. Collins with 35.4% and then Mistress Isabel Brooks with 33.9%. And then the queen in 3rd place would be Denali with 25.4% and then Bosco was 4th with 19.9%. Now, a few people have asked me who I'm rooting for in the season, like in comments on YouTube and things like that. I will have to go with the queens that I have a slight personal connection with in terms of I've met them. So Tina Burner, Miss Cuckoo Queen, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, and also Deja Skye are the 3 queens who I've either met or interviewed or spoken to. So I will have to say those queens because I really love all of them. And because I've met them, I feel like I have a bit more of a connection with them. We're not like friends or anything.
You don't have any friends.
But I really like those queens. But I can see why people are voting for Lydia and Mistress because Mistress is just great TV. She's so fun. She's obviously was always going to come back for an All-Stars because she's so entertaining. And also Lydia is just the biggest gag because she was just on a season. So I'm also very much looking forward to seeing more of the butthole.
I can't be around you anymore. I'm just not strong enough.
And then the final two questions were, who do you think will win the season and who do you want to win the season? Because I think it's interesting to compare the two. So for the who do you think will win the season, the queen that came out on top was Ginger Minge with 33.2. Then it was Mistress Isabel Brooks with 24.3 and then Bosco with 13.4. And then if we compare that to the next question is who do you want to win the season? The queen that comes out on top is Mistress with 22%, Lydia B. Collins with 19%, and then Denali third with 14.5. So I think what we can deduce from these two graphs is that I think most people think that Ginger is going to win, maybe because a little bit like Alyssa on Global All Stars, she's been brought back after she's already been on All Stars in a few seasons before. So I do wonder if that's the storyline. But I think people want Mistress or Lydia to win, probably because they were finalists or kind of they went quite far on their original seasons. So I would agree. I'd like to see how the season unfolds, and I think I will reserve judgment until then. But I'm just very, very much looking forward to seeing all of the queens and how they interact. Okay, so quickly moving on to some of the comments from the Have Your Say poll.
Don't worry, it's almost over.
So as I mentioned earlier, a lot of the comments were saying that Georges and Ginger specifically should not be on it because they should give opportunities to other queens who haven't been on All Stars yet. And someone, for example, said, I understand there's nothing wrong with queens returning, but it feels really forced when the returnees are someone who has competed in the same All Stars franchises 3 times, 4 times counting original season, and a favourite of RuPaul who was just on last year, which is more referring to Georges, I assume. There was also a lot of comments with people saying that it's really gaggy that they've changed the format of the season because it is totally different. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it actually shakes up. I hope that the payoff is enough that it warrants having this massive format change. But I do think with a show like Drag Race, you do need to switch it up, otherwise it will get stale. So I can see why they're doing it. But let's just hope it doesn't turn out to be a little bit like All Stars 1 with the teams, where they probably thought it was a good idea, but then in the end, it was the most terrible idea ever. So let's see what actually happens. Also, I would just like to say thank you so much for all of the lovely, amazing, supportive comments that people wrote in the Have Your Say poll, also on my videos. These videos do take a while for me to make, but I love doing them and I love seeing all of your comments. So please keep them coming, and it's just so, so lovely to read them. Okay, so finally we're going to move on to a little bit of drama that's unrelated to All Stars 10, which is to do with Lexi Love calling out Violet Chachki for something that Violet said. And also Lexi announces that she's taking a break. Okay, so let's start with Lexi calling out Violet. So what happened was, yesterday, Ricky Cornish, who is a journalist, posted a video which was an interview that he did at an event with Violet Chachki and Gottmik. In the clip, Ricky asked Violet what she thought of season 17, and this is what Violet said.
Did anyone serve on season 17? Oh, I literally have no clue. Oh, I don't watch. Oh, no. And Mick keeps showing me clips and videos of things. I'm like, stop showing me this garbage.
She literally does that to me.
I go, stop showing it to me.
Ricky then posted this clip on Twitter, and the caption said, Violet Chachki says the latest season of Drag Race was garbage. And as you can imagine, this tweet got a huge amount of attention on social media. Lexi Love then reposted this tweet and said, what a C word, with the eye roll emoji. And presumably Lexi was referring to what Violet had said about season 17. This then sparked a huge discussion in the comments about what Violet had said. Some people supported what Violet said about season 17 and said, she didn't lie though, and Lexi replied to this user saying, you're lame. A lot of people supported Lexi, such as Deja Sky, who said, well, I loved it. But other people wrote even more extreme things about Violet, calling her out, saying that she was being mean, and this sparked quite a bit of backlash against Violet and also Gottmik. One of the queens who also called Violet out was Plain Jane, who retweeted Lexi's post and said, no shade but like tea. Alumni who are proudly dismissive like this in general don't impress me. No one's career is forever, babe. If people show respect for you, have the courtesy to show the same respect to B words that came after. Crystal Envy then commented on Plain Jane's tweet and said, thanks for standing up for us, big sis. Plain followed this up with another tweet, which was presumably a joke, which said, Oh, also, Violet is fat now. Big fat Violet. You better spill plus size diva yas. Corey King also got involved and posted an old photo of Violet Chachki saying, "Anyways, good morning, kingdom." Violet didn't comment on this backlash at first, but Gottmik did. Someone replied to Ricky's original post and said, "The way you worded this as clickbait is so boring. She didn't say the season was garbage directly, and you're annoying for wording it like that." And Gottmik replied to this user with just a full stop. However, a few hours later, Violet did respond to the situation and posted a video on her TikTok where she basically said that this clip had, quote, twisted the narrative and that she has nothing but love for the queens. And here is what Violet said.
I check my phone and I'm seeing that the press has twisted this weird ass narrative saying that I am calling something garbage that I've never even seen. How does that make any sense? I have nothing but love and light for everything that RuPaul's done for me and for the community and for the literal world. I'm eternally grateful for that. I literally cannot have an opinion on something I've never seen. Mick shows me videos of so many things that I don't want to see because I need my brain to be sharp and focused. That's it. I'm so sick of being misunderstood. I have nothing but love for every queer person in the world.
I also saw on Twitter that a few people posted the same screenshot of a comment that Gottmik wrote on Violet's TikTok video, which said, "The video was cut shady. Violet was saying I show her a bunch of garbage all the time, not saying about Drag Race at all, besides saying she hasn't seen it." Also, since I started editing this video, Violet has actually responded to a few people in the comments on her TikTok. For example, someone said, "Now that you said it, there is an obvious cut after you said you haven't watched it." And Violet hearted that response and said, "Hello, can we use our brains just a little here? And then to run that headline is just slimy." And then someone else said, "They're always going to edit you to be the villain because you're so fierce, mama. Let them talk like your fans aren't going anywhere." And Violet responded saying, "Yeah, well, it's tired." Violet's response in this TikTok video got mainly supportive comments from what I can see, with people standing up for Violet and saying that the clip took what she said out of context and that people were being too sensitive and overreacting. However, other people maintained that Violet was being unnecessarily mean, and there was still quite a bit of backlash against Violet. But as I always say in these videos, please do not be mean to the queens and don't get involved in this type of drama. It's not necessary and it often leads to the queens getting an unnecessary amount of hate, so please just consume this type of content passively. Also, just as an additional side note which is unrelated to the Violet drama, a few days ago, Lexi Love posted on social media saying that she was taking a break. Lexi posted on Instagram saying, "To my loyal family, friends and fans, I'm taking a step back to nurture my mental, physical and emotional well-being. It's time to transform my relationship with my inner saboteur, to understand it, disarm it and step fully into my strength. This journey isn't one I can take alone. I know I'll need help, guidance and grace along the way, and I'm so grateful to have the love and support of this incredible community behind me. When I return, I'll be ready to take on the world, bigger, better and stronger than before. And to those who doubted me, thank you for reminding me that resilience is a choice and I choose to rise. I, Lexi, love you." And people in the comments were sending messages of support to Lexi. However, Lexi doesn't seem to have said much about this since then, so it's unclear how long the break will be and in what form the break will take, so we'll have to wait and see if Lexi posts any more about it. But I just thought this was interesting because Lexi is now the second queen from season 17 who said she's taking some form of a break, after Jules Sparkles posted a while ago saying that she was taking a break from Twitter for her mental health, which I did talk about in one of my previous videos, so I just thought this was an important piece of information. So there you go, there was the Have Your Say video for All Stars 10 Meet the Queens. Let me know how excited you are for All Stars 10 and what element of All Stars 10 are you most excited to see when the season starts. If you'd like to have your comment featured in my Have Your Say video, as well as get early access to my videos, access to the Patreon exclusive chat, please check out my Patreon. It's just a cheap and quick, easy way for you to support my channel, and I truly do appreciate it. So please check it out, and I'll put a link to it in the description. And I'd just like to say thank you so much to my amazing Patreon community. You are all absolute legends. Some of you have been with me for so long now, and I really am so humbled and amazed by your support. Thank you so much for everything. You are literally incredible, and you keep this channel going. So thank you all so, so much from the bottom of my heart. Please make sure you like and comment on this video because it really helps boost the algorithm and promote it to more people. And please make sure you smash that subscribe button because I would love to get my subscribers up to 150,000 by the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me for some more All Stars 10 gossip, secrets, and drama when the season starts. Thank you so much. Bye!